Hey guys, this is Duranasaur, and this is the first TBC dungeon speedrun analysis video that I've been able to do since Classic TBC came out. And this first one is actually coming from our most recent and our first Dungeon Cleave Cup. So if you didn't get a chance to watch it, or if you're not familiar yet, check out www.dungeoncleave.com. We have a website devoted to heroic dungeon and raid speedrunning in Classic TBC, and we just recently put on our first heroic dungeon speedrunning competition. So the runs that I'm going to look at today are from that competition, and they are both from Underbog. And the reason that I'm going to do both of these runs and kind of watch them simultaneously is that they broke the world record for Underbog one run after the other, and they have very different group comps. So you'll see above me, this is the perspective from Kekfilet. He's a streamer. They have a stealth group of 2 druids and 3 rogues, and then to my right here we have Mad Speed. So they are a more conventional group comp. You can kind of see they have a hunter, priest, mage, warlock, and then a druid tank. So their group is a little unconventional. The stealth group, I think, is kind of what people expected from that. But I'm going to watch both of these as they go. You're going to be able to see the timers for both of their runs on each of their respective split screens here. And again, these are currently the #1 and #2 fastest heroic underbogs in the world. So very exciting things. We were super stoked to be able to watch these, and I will get these started real quick. So again, we have Kekfilet here as I said before, in the top left, and then we have Mad Speed down in the bottom right. So one of the requirements for our heroic Underbog dungeon competition piece of this was that you had to pull and kill the first Spore Bat. So even though this group on the top left is an all stealth group, they had to, in order to start their run, pull and kill this trash. So instead of them being able to just stealth like they are now and just move through, they had to kill that first pack. So that's, one of the ways that we've kind of evened out the playing field here, a very slight way. As you can see in the bottom right, Mad Speed is just cleaving through mobs here. They have a very interesting comp that's going to come into play a bit later, and it actually came into play a lot during this whole competition. So the whole competition included all 3 of the Coil Fang dungeons. So each team had to do heroic Underbog, heroic Steam Vaults, and heroic Slave Pins, and their final score was the time from each individual dungeon added together. So both of these teams opted to do heroic Underbog first, and like I said, they both bested the world records one after another. So they're taking very similar routes here. Mad Speed, again, having to kill mobs, but you can see, like, they are very close. Even at this point right now, I know we're very early on, but the stealth groups, they're having to be more careful. They're kind of having to wait on patrols to get good distracts, whereas the non-stealth group, the more conventional group, they're just barreling through this. So they do have a hunter, which is a ton of damage. The warlock, obviously a ton of damage. The mage, also not too shabby. And then the feral tank, being able to generate a lot of threat and buff that hunter with the feral buff. You'll see the stealth group coming up here, getting ready for the first boss. They are going to, it's kind of a theme throughout this that they kill stuff a lot slower, right? They're going to kill stuff a lot slower than that more conventional raid comp. So even though they're getting to this boss first, it actually takes them, it's going to take them longer to kill that boss than Mad Speed. If you watch Mad Speed right now, this is actually one of the first and only mistakes they make in this dungeon. They accidentally pull this double Bog Lord bat right here, and this might be one of the differences between them having kept the top time versus losing it. So just a little spoiler there, the stealth team did end up with the faster Underbog time, but by a very narrow margin. So each of the mistakes that are made in each of these runs really added up in terms of who got the fastest Underbog run in the world. So you'll see Stealth Run just finished off killing the first boss, and they're going to, again, re-stealth, head back through here. I think what ends up happening here, yeah, so this is a mistake made by them. One of the rogues still had the debuff, the dot ticking from the boss fight. And so even though they stealthed, they were brought out of stealth because of that dot. So that's, I think they even mention it during this part of it, that that rogue should have cloaked it off so that they didn't come out of stealth and pull this. Because this is one of the scariest packs, I think, in all of Underbog, this 4 Spore Bat patrol. And luckily they didn't have any deaths. They have only 2 reses, basically, because they have the 2 druids with battle res. So making sure that they, you know, don't have more than 2 deaths is very big, very important. But they clean this up, no problem. And you'll see Mad Speed is chipping away. They just killed that boss. So now they are very, very close. The fact that Mad Speed had to kill that 2 extra Bog Lords and that Stealth Fillet had to kill that 4-pack of Spore Bats. Pretty close right now. Obviously the Stealth crew able to move through here a little bit quicker. Mad Speed is waiting on the Spore Bat patrol so that they can actually skip them altogether and just pull this Bog Lord forward with them. Stealth crew continuing to move up here. While they do that, again, Mad Speed grabbing this guy. Mad Speed's going to have some a very interesting strategy coming up here that I'll kind of jump into once they actually get to it. But they're going to have to kill this and I believe one more Bog Lord. The stealth run, they actually had another hiccup here. I think their goal was to be able to distract these 2 Naga, sap both of them and walk by. But I believe one of them caught wind of it before they were able to do so. So they end up having to actually kill this 2-pack. So that's more extra trash that they end up having to kill here. I do want to take this moment to say that I'm in love with Kekfilet's shirt. We actually got to interview him afterwards, and he said that he just went and bought a bunch of them at Walmart. So if you want to be a top-end world record-holding speedrunner, go to Walmart, buy your t-shirts. That's the play here. So they're killing a bit more trash here. And I think it's just because there's some very sketchy spots up here with a lot of condensed trash. So they want to have the maneuverability to be able to get around it without having to worry about sapping too many targets or getting pulled out of stealth. Mad Speed, again, not very far behind at this point. We'll see the stealth crew. They're wavering here. I think a lot of it, too, again, like, it's so packed with mobs right here that even though they are stealth, they kind of have to wait on this patrol. We'll see them throw out another clutch distract moving up here. That's like the name of the game with this crew in general, and it was throughout all 3 of the dungeons, was good distracts and good saps. Because sap targets do not, you know, they're incapacitated. They actually have to throw out a double distract there, because I think the first distract was resisted by one of the mobs. All of them popping sprint here to just move through here quicker. And they are headed up into here. Meanwhile, Mad Speed getting up here and getting into position for what is going to be a very interesting pull. So I'll kind of start talking about them while Stealth Fillet continues to move up through here. So Mad Speed, Hunter's dismissing the pet. You'll see the Warlock is summoning. And what we should see here, I guess what we're not going to see here is, it's actually, I think, going to be an Eye of Kilrog that the Warlock summons. And what they're doing is they're sending it all the way up top to the last pack before the boss. And that Warlock is going to pull that trash pack with the Eye of Kilrog. And I think right before the eye dies, the mage is actually going to cast and get aggro on that trash pack. And then we'll see everything come funneling down here. So you'll see they are waiting patiently while that happens. Meanwhile, Stealth Fillet, they're waiting for this Hydra boss to come up here. This was sort of a theme throughout the whole competition. This boss, when it's down in the water, is very far away. So it's actually pretty hard to pull it early and get it up here. So that seems like every run sort of had trouble with that. One of the runs actually has, it might be Mad Speed here that we'll see soon. But if you check out Mad Speed now, they have all that trash pulled. You'll see. The Warlock, I think, does have threat, but They've soulstoned themselves. So this hunter, this priest, and this druid, they have stayed out of combat. The mage currently has all the threats. So the mage is kiting these mobs away. The warlock pops his soulstone, gets up. So the 4 of these guys are moving up, and they are going to be skipping all of this trash in here and moving straight over to the Hydra boss. Just got to make this jump on this ledge. Easy, no problems. Stealth fillet, working on killing this boss right now. Taking a lot of damage. Again, like this boss absolutely melts if you have the damage for it. But in this 3 rogue, 2 druid crew, the fight takes a little bit longer, which means that there's just a bit more of AoE damage that goes out. Which is a little bit frightening, especially again because you have no reses here. So now you'll see Mad Speed having that same problem of figuring out how do you pull this Hydra guy. He's so far down into the water that even a hunter that's like actively trying to shoot him cannot get in range. And I think what finally happens here is that the hunter has misdirect up, and they actually jump or fall down into the water to get some shots off. So the Hydra right now is not targeting the hunter, but unfortunately I think the hunter does get hit by just the AoE spit, and the fish kill it. So a big misplay, I would say there. One, you were losing your probably highest DPS on this boss fight, so that's just going to make that boss fight take way longer. The hunter's going to be running back right now. You can kind of watch as the rest of the party, their health bars, their mana bars adjust. They are fighting the boss, and this hunter is going to try to use their passive to run back as quick as they can. Stealth fillet, in the meantime, is working their way through all this trash leading up to the hunter boss. And this is an area where they run into a little bit of trouble. So there's this double patrol of the stinger mobs. And it actually takes a little bit for Kekfillet to get across here. So he tries to cross right there, but I think what ended up happening was that Finray patrolled in just a way that it ended up blocking him. So he's going to move up a little bit further here, but this is where you kind of run into this double patrol that are just timed perfectly enough that it's getting in his way. And he's running into mushrooms. He's having some trouble here. So this might be the fastest run in the world, but it shows that there's tons of room for improvement. Over on Mad Speed, they were actually able to res the hunter. So the hunter pops a water walking potion, and is now using aspect of the cheetah to catch back up with the rest of his party. Again, not very far behind the stealth crew, just because Kekfillet had that unfortunate mishap, getting blocked by those patrols. The mobs just knowing how and when to grief this stealth crew as best they can. All the anti-stealth groups were cheering in the chat. Now, right here, they're opting to engage the boss before killing that other Bog Lord, which is kind of a scary thing. If anyone were to get punted out and pull that Bog Lord, chances are you would see some deaths, maybe even a wipe. But these guys they're taking the risk. They're trying to get this done without having to go out and search for that patrol. At the same time, you'll see Mad Speed is kind of doing the opposite strategy. They're coming out here and they're killing that Bog Lord first. So they are they're getting one step ahead in terms of their overall progression of the dungeon. They're going to kill this Bog Lord before the boss. That way they can go straight into the boss, and then they only have one trash mob left. While the stealth fillet team, they're going to kill this boss, and then they're going to be able to actually stealth by that Bog Lord. So right now, they're more than halfway through this fight. I believe they've already killed the hunter. I think you can actually see the healer on Stealth Fillet is already going out ahead. He's in cat form. He's ready to stealth. He's ready to get moving on this. So boss is down there. If you look over at Mad Speed, they have engaged that same boss. They're pumping the hunter down. He's down below 50%. This stealth squad moving through here. They do have to stealth past 2 of these Bog Lords, Underbog Lords, which we thought could see through stealth, but evidently not. You'll see clutch distracts getting thrown out there to prevent the Bog Lord just from peeking and seeing them. So they're now moving up to the final boss, having to mana up here a little bit before engaging it. Mad Speed kind of kiting the druid pet so they can move forward. As soon as he resets here, they're going to be able to kill that last Underbog Lord and then head into the Black Stalker. Now, this is where there isn't much left here other than just like raw DPS. The stealth crew doesn't have the same level of DPS, but it doesn't really matter. Again, this is another boss that just absolutely melts. So you'll see, even with the mechanics of it being on heroic, even with the levitations, with the extra mobs coming up and shooting lightning, they get it down easy, no problems whatsoever. And you'll see their final time was 13:48. Meanwhile, Mad Speed, they're at just now hitting 14 minutes, and they're heading into this final boss. There's so many ways, so many different things you could point out here. The fact that Mad Speed had that hunter die on that Hydra boss, that just meant that boss took longer, than you had to res him after the fact. That's a ton of time. Both crews ended up having to pull and kill more trash than they probably wanted to. You had some difficult padding for the stealth crew that they had to maneuver around or wait for. Overall, both these runs, like I said, Mad Speed actually went first in the competition. They set the world record for Heroic Underbog, and then I think it was 2 or 3 runs later, we had the Stealth Fillet crew come in and actually beat the time and set the new world record for Heroic Underbog. Both of these runs were incredibly exciting to watch. The difference that we saw in Underbog runs was also incredible. A 13:48, I think the third place Underbog time was over 30 minutes. And that was just because they had, when they were doing the skip inside prior to the Hydra boss, they had some difficulties and they ended up wiping. And that just, it more than doubled their time because they had to run all the way back, and then they were unable to perform the skip because they didn't have the cooldowns for it and different things like that. So both these runs, again, incredibly impressive. I would challenge anyone to come out here, see what these guys did wrong, and attempt to improve upon it. And go ahead and submit those runs to the Dungeon Cleave leaderboard if you get a chance to do that. I'll put a link to our website below, but we have leaderboards for every single TBC Heroic Dungeon. We are tracking everybody's runs. You get to submit, your team name, and then a video of the run confirming what you've done. Right now, the rules are very open-ended about how you get to do it. We want to allow people to try all kinds of crazy stuff, at least for now. And join our Discord. That's where we talk about our future competitions, the rules set for those, and the overall rules for everything that we have going on. So we want to very much be community driven and do things that make this the most fun for everybody. So check us out, check out the website, check out the Discord, and let's run some dungeons, let's run some heroics and have some fun. And be sure to look out for our next competition, which will be in August. And we're planning on doing one every single month. So even if you're watching this video down the line, still check us out. We want to be running heroic dungeon speedrun competitions throughout the duration of TBC Classic. So thank you for watching. Feel free to hit that like or subscribe button. Come back and see what else I've got cooking up. So thanks, and have a great day. Happy hunting. See you guys.